All right, what's up, everybody? We are on season 1, episode 3 of Dark. What an absolutely amazing start to this show that we have with the past 2 episodes. I've been thinking about it all week because I watched them back to back, and I'm so into it. And like, that's the thing. Obviously, episode 2 sort of ended with uh, an interesting revelation and an interesting tease, I guess, for what we're immediately going to pick up on in this episode, I would presume, is that Mikkel ended up literally in 1986, right? And he finds himself in a basically previous timeline, I guess, where he saw his own dad and mom, yeah, looking much younger than they obviously are, at a point where they didn't even have him as their kid yet, right? So what what adventure is he about to have, I guess, but also like how did he even end up there in the first place is obviously something you ask yourself. I mean, this show is literally full of questions that you constantly ask yourself. And so it's interesting because there is that aspect which we're inevitably going to dive into. I can only assume with the third episode now, but it's actually not what I'm even really thinking about. I'm thinking about already who is truly behind this? What is going on? What are all the possible connections? And like, there's so many characters already that they're showing you for which they're not really telling how much they know. You get what I'm saying? Like, for example, there's that one guy, literally Jonas's psychiatrist, right? Who we've have only seen a couple of scenes of, I feel. But we saw him seemingly having something on his mind that he needed to tell his I don't know if it's his wife still or if it's his ex or whatever, but like the person who he used to be with, they seem to be having some trouble in paradise, let's say. And so he really meant to tell something to her, and at the same time he was listening on the radio about Mikkel going missing, and he was crying all about it. And it's like, what the hell? What do you know? I mean, you were just walking with Jonas through the forest in the first episode, being his psychiatrist or whatever, right? Like telling him how good of a job he was doing, getting over his dad's suicide, this and that. So that's like, that's only one aspect, like I said, but there is much more. Like, for example, there is obviously the hooded figure, right? Who they keep teasing, and he's the obvious bad guy. At least that's how the show is portraying him right now, I would feel. They're purposefully, but again, this is just my hunch feeling, right? They're purposefully leading us into the direction of thinking that he must be behind so much of this, right? But it's actually not what I think at all. I feel like he is somebody who just knows a lot of stuff, clearly, and he's investigating it all, right? Like, he's probably traveled between timelines already. He like again, he booked that hotel room, right? And he hung up a bunch of things that he knew. And I like, well, I'm not saying that he's necessarily all good in his intentions or something either, but I just feel like, again, I feel like he's a distraction, right? And one character that I am actually very suspicious of simultaneously is Ulrich's dad. So Mikkel's granddad, because we saw, of course, that he was doing laundry and he had blood on his clothes, and his wife was asking him, why was he gone all night or whatever, right? And obviously he's tied to both Mikkel and then also Mads, who already went missing 33 years ago. So that's suspicious, although I would at the same time think that, like, being part of their family, that means he shouldn't be suspicious. But then again, you just don't know. But he was clearly indicating that, like, okay, he knew certain things, and I didn't like his personality traits. And even when he was looking there for Mikkel in the open with all the police people, and they were like trying to reassure him, we're gonna find him, he's like, yeah, maybe not. It could also, of course, just be skepticism from the fact that he knows that Mads went missing the exact same way. But I don't know. I'm not trusting him right now. But all of that, just my hunch feelings, right? Yeah, I don't know what else there is possibly for me to get into still, because there is a lot. Obviously, we saw that Eric seems to have gotten killed. I mean, we know that they did the experiments on him and they put the thing around his eyes. And now we saw, again, this is how they do this, right? So there's the hooded figure, like I said, who booked the hotel room. But at the same time, they show a hooded figure dragging Eric through the forest there. And so it's clearly trying to make us assume that it's the same guy, but they're never showing his face, his or her face, I guess, right? So, this is what made me think that, like, man, what if it's like the granddad who is able to time travel, and so it's the granddad in the other timeline or something. Like, those are the directions that I'm thinking in right now, right? But I realize that it's all a little bit all over the place, and surely if you're watching these reactions with me, you know all the answers, I can only assume. But I know people like it when I just do a bunch of random speculating. But like, these are all the theories on my mind. The one more concrete thing that I can say about the show is that I'm very curious how long it's going to take for the characters that we're dealing with right now to realize that there's supernatural stuff going on. Because, of course, there's a couple characters already, like the one guy, from the insane asylum or whatever he was in, who was saying, like, oh, it's all happening again, right? And they were all just sort of playing it off as like, oh, there comes the crazy guy again. But clearly, they're all noticing right now power going out, birds falling from the sky, dead. The odd connections. You wonder when they're going to finally realize who the kid is that they actually found. Because, I mean, I keep thinking that it is actually Matt. That it's Matt from the past who they now finally found his dead body of because it somehow ended up here. Maybe switched places with literally Mikkel, who now ended up in 1986, right? That's kind of how I was thinking. But, I mean, I'm not sure if the switching places is necessarily going to be a valid theory or not. But, again, it's like the moment they realize some of these things, the only conclusion you can draw is like, okay, the world is not the world is not making sense. Literally that. Because it's very understandable from their perspective at the moment. Same with basically our world. I mean, we would never think in that kind of direction until we realize that, like, something here truly doesn't make any sense. And so, yeah, I wonder how all the characters are going to actually deal with that situation the moment that they do. For now, guys, I think I've done a long enough intro, so we're going to get into episode 3 of Dark. I'm absolutely loving this show already, and, can't wait to see where we go from here. If you enjoy my reactions to this show, then you can actually already watch the next 6 episodes straight away over my Patreon page, which is going to be linked on top of the description. So over there, we'll already be on episode 9, actually, and you can catch up on all of that right away. Your support is, of course, very much appreciated and allows me to make these videos in the first place. Keep that in mind. Over there will also be my full-length reactions if you want to see the entire episodes along with me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and then for now, let's dive into episode 3 of Dark. These songs are supposed to make me happy, but it's so eerie now. Every time. You're just dreading finding out what they're about to show you. Oh. Is it actually? Yeah, it's probably the mom, right? Ulrich's mom. Yeah, I'm immediately curious now if Mikkel's gonna realize something about his family then. Or like Ulrich's dad. Because I'm gonna keep saying it, but I do kind of suspect him right now.
Mama? What?
He still doesn't realize it. Where he is. He's gonna be like, oh, you're missing or you're lost.
Wer sind Sie? Weißt du, wo ist? Weißt du, wo Mats ist? Tut mir weh. Was machst du hier? Nun sag doch was.
Oh, shit. So Matt has already gone missing at this point. Yeah, you can only imagine what kind of trauma she went through.
Ines, kannst du heute auch die Nachtschicht machen? Frau Schüttlers Tochter hat Fieber und ich muss den Benny um 6 zum Fußball fahren. Ich dachte nur, du hast ja keine
Familie.
Ja, so wollte ich das jetzt nicht sagen.
Ist kein Problem.
Danke.
Yeah, Ines. That's Jonas's grandmom. In 1986, I guess here, right? She's clearly looking younger. Soundtrack is so fucking good too.
5. November 86. Nach dem mysteriösen Verschwinden eines 11-jährigen Jungen in der Kleinstadt Winden vor mehr als 4 Wochen werden die Stimmen gegen die lokalen Ermittlungsbehörden immer lauter. Der Fall wirft einige Rätsel auf. So wurde zum Beispiel...
So did he go missing on the 4th as well, actually? It's exactly 33 years in between.
Gerade in Zeiten wie diesen gilt es, den Zukunft gehört den Mutigen, nicht den Zweiflern, nicht den ewig Gestrigen.
Job interview or something?
Hallo Regina, ich rede mit dir. Ist ein Riesending für mich und ich lasse mir das von dir nicht versauen.
I'm not sure, but do we know Regina? Oh shit. The school was here already as well. Your clothing style is a little outdated, magician. Well, actually, it's not outdated, but the opposite. Ahead of the trend. Mad. But does Mikkel... I mean, surely he realizes what's going on right now, no?
Mein Papa sagt, Lippenstift ist nur was für Prostituierte. Und überhaupt finde ich Nino D'Angelo viel besser als Falco.
Mensch, Hannah, du bist so alt wie der Wald.
Ach komm, Katharina, jetzt sei nicht so gemein.
Oh, they've known each other a while.
Ist das dann hier nicht Winden?
Bist du nicht ein bisschen zu jung für Acid?
Habt ihr jetzt Geschi?
Man, she was such a bully, holy shit. And now she's the director.
Morgen, Claudia.
Morgen.
Erster Tag als Chefin heute.
Ja.
Glückwunsch.
Danke.
Ich habe immer gewusst, dass aus dir mal was wird.
Helge.
Yeah, I see what you're trying to do. Oh wow, we even bought her a present, oh my god. Sucking up on a whole new level.
Danke.
Interesting how he has scars. Kinda reminding me of the hooded guy who had scars on his back. Could be meaningless though. No future.
6 wollte ich die Viecher füttern. Und dann das.
Vielleicht ein Wolf?
Keine Bissspuren.
A wolf would eat them. Exactly.
Erst die Sache mit dem Jungen und jetzt das hier. Das hätte es hier früher nicht gegeben.
So is it like sound
Es
waves?
sind einfach 33 Schafe. Seht zu, wachet und betet. Denn sie wissen nicht, wann die Zeit kommt. Markus Evangelium 1333.
Wusste gar nicht, dass Sie Kirchgänger sind.
Wir haben einen neuen Pfarrer in der Gemeinde.
You will now.
Guter Mann.
That's what I'm saying, man. If there was ever a reason to become religious, now would be it.
Und hier sind die Werte aus 86 und 85, die Sie haben wollten.
Sind Sie sicher, dass es die richtigen Zahlen sind?
Ja.
What's the deal with the plant then, man? Even the directors don't seem to know about it.
Ich will zu meinem Vater. Ulrich Nielsen?
Ulrich Nielsen? Der Ulrich Nielsen?
Arbeitet der denn nicht hier?
Nein. Und das wird er bestimmt auch nie.
Actually.
Hat er das gemacht? Hat Ulrich das gemacht?
How did he get that, actually?
Welcher Tag ist heute?
5. November
Welches Jahr?
1986.
1986.
I mean, he's a kid, of course. It's just funny how long it took for him to catch on, finally.
Gleich wird jemand kommen, um dich abzuholen und sich um das zu kümmern. Und ich kümmere mich in der Zeit um Ulrich.
Is he, like, contemplating about even telling them, like, I'm from 2019? Because then he'd sure have some intellect for a kid. If he actually isn't sure what he should say.
Ein Interview? Ist es dein Ernst, Ronte?
Ich vermisse dich. Zu Hause fällt mir die Decke auf den Kopf. Jana dreht immer mehr durch und
Ich will, dass du jetzt gehst.
Heute Abend.
Vielleicht.
The show is going so fast, but I'm actually wondering who that guy was with the mustache, because he's supposed to be Nielsen, right? So is it actually the granddad? Who I'm suspecting? And is having seemingly some affair with her? Last week. So it's not exactly November 4th, I guess, but close to it.
Hallo. Ich bringe dich jetzt ins Krankenhaus.
uns mal deinen Arm an, okay?
Another question I have now is how does this actually work? Like, in the future, do they still remember what happened here? You get what I'm saying? Like, does Ines in the future, in basically our timeline, still remember that she took care of this kid? Or are we creating a new canon now? Or, you know, time travel is always complicated.
Hallo?
You're trying to find Ulrich?
Was wollen Sie hier?
Der Junge, den du geschickt hast. Findest du das lustig?
Welcher Junge?
Glaube ja nicht, dass du damit durchkommst. Was ist das?
Ein Huf. Das sieht man doch.
Machst du das auf der Wiese?
Welche Wiese?
Hast du die Schafe getötet?
Wenn du dir nicht den ganzen Tag dein Hirn wegsaufen würdest, dann wäre Mats vielleicht schon wieder hier.
Herr Tiedemann,
Die Tür war offen.
wegen Mats. Er hat ja den Schlüssel vergessen.
Huh.
Hauptkommissar Tiedemann möchte dir den neuesten Ermittlungsstand mitteilen. Es gibt nämlich neue Erkenntnisse.
Yeah, that's obviously what she was hoping for.
Eben.
Man, this whole thing is so sad.
Scheint ja alles noch zu funktionieren. Und den Namen, den willst du uns auch immer noch nicht verraten?
See, he's not willing to tell them anything, which is fascinating. I genuinely wonder if he remembers how he ended up here. I assume he does, and so I'm eager to find out now how he did. Because he came walking out of the cave, right? That's what we saw. So did he enter it and then just came out and suddenly found himself here?
Wolltest du mir das einfach unterjubeln? Ich hab dir gesagt, wenn es Leichen im Keller gibt, dann muss ich das wissen.
Es gibt Dinge, die lohnt es sich zu wissen, und es gibt Dinge, die lohnt es sich nicht zu wissen, weil man sie ohnehin nicht ändern kann. Weißt du, was sich seit Tschernobyl verändert hat? Die Leute haben das Vertrauen verloren in uns, in die Kernenergie. Die haben die Bilder gesehen. Das geht nicht mehr aus ihren Köpfen raus. Aber Angst ist der schlimmste Feind des Volkes.
Yeah. Hadn't even considered that.
Wie viele Leute hier in der Gegend leben vom AKW? Und wenn du morgen diesen Posten hier antrittst, trägst du nicht nur die Verantwortung für das AKW, dann trägst du auch die Verantwortung für die ganze Stadt.
Dann sollte ich umso mehr wissen, was das zu bedeuten hat.
Fascinating, man. Yeah, those kinds of motives you hadn't even considered, right? Like the interests of the power plant executives, which I can only assume have something to do with all of this. Charlotte.
Und? Bei der Frau Tochter alles im grünen Bereich?
Ja, alles grün.
Ist ja ein großes Ding. Eine Frau, die Leitung des AKW.
Ja, schon. Sind die nun vergiftet worden?
Kaum.
So his daughter is the one now, running the power plant, right? That's okay, that's how it ties in.
Ganz typisch für Schafe. Sind eben echte Sensibelchen. Wenn die
Oh,
in Panik
shit.
geraten, steigert die ganze Herde sich gemeinsam da rein. Ein Teufelskreis, da plumpsen die um.
Yeah, but what got them to panic, right?
Ohne Panik. Ich meine, fehlte dir mein Ruf?
Nein. Alle so wie der liebe Gott sie geschaffen hat.
Yeah, so Ulrich was not involved. I mean, I suspect it must be sound waves or something.
Soweit ich weiß, machen die dann ein ziemlich großes Brimborium raus. Da müsstest du doch Spuren sehen auf der Wiese.
Ooh, what is he seeing?
Sehr seltsam. Komm mal.
Ear? Gotta be. Just like with the cave.
Fälle sind
Yep, okay.
Auf beiden Seiten. Kommst du am Wochenende zu unserer Party? Meine Frau mag diese jugoslawischen Hackfleischdinger. Sau scharf. Aber auch sau lecker.
You fucking weirdo. You gotta be a weirdo to do this kind of job, to be honest.
Was wir wissen, ist ein Tropfen. Was wir nicht wissen, ein Ozean.
Yeah, that's only a little foreboding. What is he about to show her here? The truth? Probably only a taste of it. Oh my god. Do not fall in there. Okay. What are we about to find there? She's really nice. I still wonder what was actually in the letter, of course, that she read later. Oh shit, here we go. Yeah, she's not gonna buy that. I guess the letter started making sense to her suddenly, or something. Based on this experience. Captain Future, yeah, that's what you read from. That's a lot of radioactive barrels.
Hallo, hier ist Mama. Wenn du das abhörst, dann mach dir doch eine Pizza warm. Ich komme später, ich habe noch was zu erledigen.
I hope she's coming back at least. How did you end up with those? Why the fuck is everybody scarred in this show? And why did he just drive over here? Is this gonna be the same place where we just saw? Or is he going back to the pasture where the sheep were? And are they... Well, yeah, they picked him up, of course. Oh, he can hear stuff now. Oh shit, the bird just dropped from the sky after that sound, right? Here we go again. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's raining birds. Shit. That's horrifying. Car lights going out. He's getting the hell out of there. Is he gonna try and meet with his dad here? What is Mikkel's next plan gonna be? Oh no. They couldn't be having their affair this early on already.
Ist das jetzt die Apokalypse? Ich hab's mir irgendwie lauter vorgestellt. Greller.
Don't worry, it can get louder. Ask the sheep. He's running back into the forest. Oh, he's gonna try and find the cave again. Oh, he's thinking if I go back there, then I can come out and go back to the present, I guess. So you wonder, did he go through the door?
Wenn die Welt heute ausgelöscht wird und alles neu beginnt, was würdest du dir wünschen?
Ganz klar. Eine Welt ohne Winden.
That might be a good thing to wish for, to be honest. He's like, fuck this town. I don't blame him. They did a great job with casting people that sort of look like they could be their younger versions too. I love it. Oh no. Oh shit, we're getting the split screen. Oh, that's good in case I didn't catch on to any characters. Yeah, Caesar was him. That's what I was wondering already. So he had an affair with the CEO of the power plant. Yeah, now that's even more suspicious. Ah, that's who Charlotte was. Right. Yeah, see, the names takes a while to catch on to. But yeah, she was working with Ulrich. Yeah, he's not giving up on the search, obviously. Oh, he's breaking open that door. You wonder if he's gonna find Mikkel on the other side. It's literally Narnia. Damn, yeah, you're probably not... Oh, shit. Are you even ever getting out of that again? He might have broken his leg. Oh, shit, he can hear it. So it is a door to a different time. That's crazy. Wow, but he doesn't hear it on the other side. Shout back, dude. He's not gonna hear you whispering. It's like you heard it all around him, though, and it wasn't making any sense. Wow. So creative. This is the machine that the hooded figure had, right? Wow, what a fucking episode. Alright, yeah, great episode once again. I really like how at the end of it, they did the little montage there showing you the split screen views to kind of, I guess if you hadn't caught on to some characters, reconfirm to you who they are in the other timeline. And so most of them, obviously, I was thankfully able to make sense of beforehand already, but still, it was kind of nice to get that because, for example, there's a character like Charlotte who is the woman that works together with Ulrich at the police force. But, you know, her story, it's not really clear to me yet where they're going with it, right? It's a very small storyline so far where the only real significance her character seems to have is actually her supposed to be husband, right? The psychiatrist guy who I talked about literally in the intro of this video, where, yeah, there seems to be something going on with him. And the question is then what? So, I honestly, every single time I watch these, I just go like, next episode, let's go. That's the thing. I was actually most curious, and I said it during the intro here too, that I was most curious to see actually how the current timeline would react to what's going on around them, even though I knew that it was very likely that this episode would be focused all on the past, and it definitely was. So, yeah, that's exactly why right now I'm literally going like, man, I just want to watch episode 4 straight away. But I like that's the thing. There's not even that much I feel that I can say about what's like new things that were really added to the story to me, where I go like, okay, that's given me some new insight to think about. Maybe one thing that I can say is that, like, again, I suspected Ulrich's father. I have been suspecting him now for a little bit. And him having an affair, seemingly, with that new CEO woman at the nuclear plant, that makes things all the more suspicious that he somehow has ties to her, right? And she herself is about to find out here about certain things that can't be known, I guess. And we saw all the toxic waste barrels or whatever standing there in the cave, and I honestly don't know what it's supposed to communicate to us. But clearly, you know, she's about to find out a part of that puzzle herself. But yeah, like where are they going to go with all of that is the big question, right? I find it interesting on one hand how Mikkel, at first, it took him a long time to finally catch on to what the hell was going on, right? I mean, I honestly would think, but maybe, you know, that's me just being much older than Mikkel, and Mikkel's just a kid, so that's something I need to keep in mind. But literally from the first moment there when you go to your old house and you see somebody who's called Ulrich, and you see somebody who's called... I forget what his mom's name is called now on the spot, but like the both of them, you see them there looking much younger. It's like that's the moment where it would already hit me like, oh yeah, that's definitely suspicious, right? And then I would find something else to try and confirm that theory. But for Mikkel, it took a much longer time to finally realize like what was happening. It's interesting though that when he did, he decided not to actually tell everybody about it. Well, he said it to Ines, right? Who is actually Jonas's grandmom, who we know now read the letter and stuff, right? And it's like, what the hell was in that letter? But that it's another thing that I question about, said it during the reaction, but like, what's happening with Mikkel now in this past timeline, is that still canon for the future timeline that we're in? Like, does Enos or present rather, does Enos still remember treating this kid who said he was from the future back then? Or does she not remember that? And are we now, like, is that actually, like, is the experience Mikkel has now going to reflect on the present timeline, on our real timeline from the first 2 episodes? Or, like, you know, are both just taking place and not really affecting the other? How's that all going to work, right? That's something that I definitely still, ask myself questions about. But it's fascinating because it would make all the more sense that Enos, having read that letter now, you know, like, it made sense of the whole situation to her even more or something, you know, like that could have been it. But fascinating stuff, and absolutely fascinating. Also, how the sheep, of course, they died because of the sound waves, literally, like I speculated. So there's something going on with that. Yeah, what's the power plant's involvement? How, you know, like, how massive are the forces behind all of this, if that makes sense? Is it something, I mean, I can only assume it is something actually supernatural, right? Like, it must be, but at the same time, maybe not. Maybe it's not actually as super, like, where do the sound waves come from is something you can ask yourself, right? But you could think about, like, oh, are they going to tell us that government is doing any of this? Or, you know, whoever, the secret organization behind the power plant that we don't know about, that even literally the public CEO doesn't know about at first? Or how is all of this going to work, right? That's a big question. Also fascinating how they brought up Chernobyl. I literally watched the show on my channel very recently, but, or maybe it's still actually, right now the episodes are being posted, I don't know, but, like, I thought it was very interesting how they said that the company, of course, was currently undergoing a lot of risk because, yeah, people don't trust these nuclear plants anymore, right? Like they used to. So, you know, clearly they need to come up with something to, I guess, to keep themselves relevant, or to restore that faith in the public. Or I don't know what it concretely means, but it's definitely stuff to think about, and makes it make all the more sense, yeah, that some shady stuff is going on regarding that whole place. But guys, man, you can just keep going on and on about this. Yeah, maybe the last scene, of course, that I have to talk about real quick still is Mikkel in the cave and Ulrich being able to hear him, but actually not hearing him from the other side of the door, but he heard him all around him. So it's like, if when you're in the cave, you can still hear sounds coming out of it, or like in the different timeline. Yeah, then it definitely is supernatural, right? I don't know, man. I keep going back and forth. This show is absolutely phenomenal. I am straight gonna, you know, head into episode 4, and so I gotta save my energy here a little bit because there's still a lot to talk about in that one, most likely as well. For now, guys, I want to thank you all a lot for tuning in to my reaction to episode 3 of Dark. Of course, the next 6 episodes will already be available straight away over my Patreon page, which is going to be linked on top of the description. Over there, we'll already be on episode 9, so make sure you go and check that out. Right now, your support is very much appreciated and allows me to make these videos in the first place. And then I want to thank you all a lot for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you back in the next episode.